So let's get into some quarterback competitions getting underway around the league. Starting in Cleveland, that room is packed this offseason. Lots of competition. Shedeur Sanders was on FanDuel TV's Up and Adams, and he says everyone's getting along just fine.
Like, everybody's cool in the room, man.
Yeah.
You know, outside the room, people try to put us against each other, but like inside the room, like we know we won.
Okay, so everybody's cool. That's Sanders, Flacco, Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett. Adam, what can you tell us about how Cleveland's managing this crowded QB room?
Well, this is the most interesting quarterback situation in the entire NFL, Hannah. And the Cleveland Browns obviously will give everybody a chance at some point this summer to try to claim that job. There are 2 veterans. There are 2 rookies. Each quarterback will have his chance. You'd have to figure that the Cleveland Browns will hold on to Dillon Gabriel. They'll hold on to Shedeur Sanders. And really, it seems like it'll come down to Kenny Pickett and the veteran Joe Flacco to wind up either winning the starting job, and the other one may not even be there and may be traded at some point during training camp. But I don't think today the Browns know who their starting quarterback will be. It'll play out over the summer, and like we said, there's not a situation that's any more interesting than the Browns quarterback room this summer.
Yeah, and I would add, Joe Flacco was a free agent and had other opportunities. And Kevin Stefanski, who had great relationship with Flacco 2 years ago, was part of the key reason that Flacco chose to come back to Cleveland, that he would have an opportunity not only to start, but would obviously be a part of that quarterback's room, which does feel like Kenny Pickett might be the odd man out if they do keep the 2 rookies. I'll say this about Shedeur Sanders because I'm on the morning show Get Up, and I know Greeny's big. I'm like, hey, there's a chance he can win this job. There is a chance he can win this job. But I've been covering this league a long time. Adam has as well. And of course, Mina and Mike and Hannah, you too. Yeah. It's very rare for a 5th-round rookie to start out of the gates.
Right.
And the last time I remember a day 2 or day 3 quarterback who really blew everyone away was 2012 when Russell Wilson showed up in Seattle and earned it every single day. He beat out the late Travaris Jackson and he beat out Matt Flynn. And he did so by being the first one there, last one to leave, and making it completely undeniable to everyone in that facility that he was the guy. I think that's what we're looking at with Shedeur Sanders right now. I don't think it's going to be, hey, let the best man win. I think he has an uphill climb here, and he's got to earn it every single day.
Yeah, and then it's crazy because it wasn't long before Russ led the franchise to their first ever Super Bowl win. It didn't take long there, but that's...
At 7:30 p.m. Eastern. If the NFL season started today, Mason Rudolph would be the Steelers' QB1. He has the most experience of any QB on the roster, started 13 games as a Steeler. 8 of those were wins. The team drafted Will Howard in the 6th round this year in the draft. They have Skylar Thompson as QB3. Of course, we are still waiting on Aaron Rodgers news. Here's what Mason Rudolph had to say about that.
Every team's adding quarterbacks every year. It's just a normal motor operation. Whoever they bring in, obviously, who it is will determine. I learned a long time ago who it is, and then the financial compensation will really tell you what's going to go down as far as the depth chart. So I get that, and I'm all I really can do is cliche and annoying as it sounds, is just keep having a great spring and enjoying working with the receivers, learning the offense, making the most of every rep I can get, and that's what I did in 2023. That's what I've done my whole career. And you get opportunities, and then you just got to be ready to capitalize when they come.
Louis Riddick, Rudolph saying all the right things. We know Mike Tomlin's track record and just persistently not having a losing record. But how far can these Steelers go if Week 1 QB1 is Mason Rudolph?
Look, they're not going to be contenders for their division crown, and that's just a fact as far as I'm concerned. Like, you're going to be in a division, man, that has Joe Burrow in it with all of his weapons back, and we'll see how the defense goes for Cincinnati. And then you're going to be in a division with Lamar Jackson, who arguably is quarterbacking the best roster in the NFL. And Cleveland is not a team you can sleep on. It just isn't. I would take Cleveland's quarterback room right now, as presently comprised, 100 out of 100 times over Pittsburgh's quarterback room as presently comprised. I would. So that leaves me to believe that, look, if Aaron Rodgers does not report to them at some point in time here between the start of their OTAs and their mandatory minicamp, and that if he is not in there in that building on the football field, in the practice field, in the meeting rooms with those quarterbacks, that offensive line, those running backs, the wide receivers, and he's just going to show up in training camp at some point in time, they are way behind, man. They are way behind. They are ice skating uphill in a division where everyone else, outside of Cleveland, obviously, at quarterback, is kind of set and ready to roll. In a conference overall that has nothing but standout quarterback play when you're talking about the AFC. And the last time I checked, the Steelers don't measure themselves, historically by just being competitive. They're trying to win the North, and they're trying to win the conference, and they're trying to win Super Bowls. That's how they judge success in Pittsburgh. Not being competitive, not being respectable, not, hey, can you win 8.5 games? Can you win 9.5 games? Can we just keep Mike Tomlin's streak of being a plus 500 football coach, alive? That's not how they judge success. And if they don't get Aaron Rodgers in there, it's going to be one of those years where every single game they're going to be holding on for dear life.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Lou. And if you don't get Aaron Rodgers in there, guys, think about this. Lives are going to change. I mean, if you just think about the mentality of Cam Hayward and Minka Fitzpatrick, if I'm going to the first game of the season and I look out there and Mason Rudolph or Will Howard is my quarterback, why the hell am I out here wasting my time? If you're Cam Hayward going in the year, whatever it is, why are you out here giving everything you have for Will Howard or Mason Rudolph? No disrespect to either one of them, but we're not going anywhere with them at the quarterback position. So why am I out here in my umpteenth year in this league trying to win a championship when offensively and organizationally we're not? And so they have to know something about Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, they are taking years off the life of guys who are potential Hall of Fame players. When you talk about Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick, if you go out there with Mason Rudolph game one, if I were Cam Hayward, I might not even show up game one, because if you're not going to put forth the effort offensively or organizationally, why do you want me out here? Like, that's the level that the Pittsburgh Steelers have taken this to by the way they've handled this quarterback situation. And it's no disrespect to those guys. Will Howard may be a good quarterback someday down the road, but he ain't winning nothing right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why they need Aaron Rodgers, and they better know something that we don't, Graz.
So, yeah, Graz, I mean, everybody's looking at you. Any update on when we might get a decision from Rodgers?
I do not know. There's only one person in the world that has that information. It is Aaron Rodgers. He will share it when he feels it's important to share it. I just think, Boog, if the Steelers know something about Aaron Rodgers, it's that he wasn't that much better last year than Mason Rudolph was. I just don't feel like that's going to make a huge difference in terms of how the Steelers play this year. I think the Steelers are approaching this offseason as there weren't a lot of great options at quarterback, so we'll take what we can get and lean into our strengths.
ESPN senior writer Seth Wickersham's book, American Kings, a biography of the quarterback, has highlighted some of the struggles that Caleb Williams experienced in his rookie season. The book revealed Caleb's father, Carl Williams, did not want his son to be selected by the Bears because Chicago was, quote, where quarterbacks go to die. New head coach Ben Johnson was asked about it